Thanks for joining us again. We've given you a lot of numbers here, and we're going to hit two of them again. One is that 92% of these loan modification applications end in a decline. And the other one is that only 8% of people are actually offered loan modification, and at the end of that, less than a quarter of those are still in it a year later.
Our big concern, because of those numbers, is that most of the 92% that end in decline end in foreclosure.
This is a brutal honesty that we really feel that you need to be prepared for. And that by being prepared for that honesty, understanding the end game of how the foreclosure process works, which we've visited at other places in this series, will help you understand why it is so vitally important for you to have your backup plan in place when we get to this point.
Mm-hmm. And again, as we've talked throughout this whole series, that's why it's so important that you have a team in place. Because that team, if it comes to this point, are really the folks that you're going to have to rely on to act quickly to help you find whatever solution may be left to help you get through this process and this crisis.
The most common thing we hear from people who we are unable to help, and when I say help, it doesn't mean necessarily sell their home, get them in front of the information they need to come up with an intelligent plan. The majority of people that we say, I'm so sorry, you are out of luck, I can't help you, it's because by the time they are looking at their second option, they're so close to the public sale that they've got no options. They're out of options. The only option they have left is a bankruptcy to stop it, and that isn't always the best of all options. So we really want to make sure that you're aware that as you're approaching, at least once that foreclosure process begins, we need to, at that point, form this team, have it in place, have your backup plan ready to go, and know what the timing of that looks like. It's vital.
And it's important to have people that you can go to and question. You know, if an event happened through that timeline, say the notice of election demand has been delivered to your door, you need to know how that applies, what that means, and what your options are. And how long you have, as we've discussed. That foreclosure could be looming, and you still have plenty of time. It's just a matter of what do you do now with the amount of time that you have left to create a plan that's going to help you either avoid that foreclosure, complete the modification in time, or do what you can to preserve what's left of your credit.
Yeah. You or me?
You know, I have one more thing. One thing to remember is if, unfortunately, the foreclosure does happen, remember that it's not going to be instant. The sheriff's not going to come knocking on your door the day after the house goes to sale. The banks are going to give you some time. They understand you have a family or you have a life and you've got things you need to move, and they will work with you in that case. So just understand that it's not an instant thing.
You can usually buy yourself anywhere from another 2 weeks to another 6 weeks to get out, and sometimes even get some cash for keys. That's a really important point, and the reason we bring that up is because often when people start getting notices taped to their doors, they freak out, pack the cars, and get out. And often you find yourself that you may well have another 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months in that house before they will, A, have the legal right to get you out of that house, and B, will actually do so. So take a deep breath, form your plan, and form your plan now, not a week before the public sale when they turn you down for this modification.
Form your plan now with a sound mind.
Yeah.
And our famous and fun disclosure, Jake Ginger, Roxanne Webster, My Home Team Denver, Keller Williams. We are not affiliated or endorsed by any government entities. We can't guarantee the outcome of any plan that you try.
We can't.
We just can't. What we can guarantee is that we're going to do our best to give you the right information and put you with the right people.
But the only thing
the bank has the right to do, unfortunately, is foreclose.
Oh.